numbers next, here on CBS.
Tuesday, the NCIS team is breaking up.
Breaking up is hard to do.
But keeping them apart,
please get them back,
will be even harder.
You heard from Ziva?
I really need to come home, boss.
I'm working on this. I'm going to give you a code.
But it is illegal, right? Don't answer that.
NCIS season premiere, CBS Tuesday.
Experts told us to be prepared for a busy hurricane season. After the devastating effects of Hurricanes Katrina and Rita, we knew to take them seriously. This time, we had a new governor with a message. Get ready, and we listened.
The other, it can certainly go into the west, will delay landfall. Going to the east could move it even more quickly than that. I want to emphasize to our residents.
With records broken for number of people evacuated from the coastal regions of Louisiana, buses were deployed to move people out of harm's way. In central Louisiana, we braced for the evacuees, as before taking refuge from the brunt of the storm.
Take a gander over my shoulder. You'll see that this place is filled to capacity.
But this time was different. In the middle of the evacuations, our region became a potential impact area, and everything changed. We prepared for a direct hit. The eye of Hurricane Gustav expected to pass over the heart of Louisiana. We stocked up on supplies, boarded and taped our property, and braced for the worst. But it was the storm after the storm that would change our history.
When the weather is rough and folks need power, it takes hard work and sacrifice from people who live here and understand responsibility. It takes innovation and hard work and a no-quit attitude. It takes people who are willing to go out there no matter what, no matter when, no matter how long, and get the job done. It takes people like the ones at Clico.
Have you suffered damage from recent storms? Do you have a remodeling project underway? The folks at Sutherland's have what you need. They have the best selection of supplies and building materials you need to rebuild or remodel your home or business. Whether you need custom kitchen cabinets or beautiful ceramic tile floors, Sutherland's has it in stock and at the right price. Building supplies, tools, home and garden accessories, right here at Sutherland's, MacArthur Drive in Alexandria.
Don't stress about planning your next event or party. A rental gallery in Alexandria is here for you to rent for your event. Not only do we provide on-site setup and service for your occasion, but we also provide the largest variety of products in town. For the elegant, budget-minded wedding, we carry tents, tables, chairs, dance floors, arches, candelabras, and so much more. We have jumpers, inflatables, cotton candy machines, and karaoke for all your fun-loving parties. So come now to a rental gallery and rent for your event.
Here's the path that we expect. Landfall, late morning, midday, south of Houma, and then headed toward Lafayette as a low Category 2 hurricane or big.
Hurricane Gustav enters the Gulf of Mexico as a Category 3 storm, and hurricane watches and warnings are issued from Texas to Florida. Central Louisiana begins its preparations in earnest.
We're currently out here at Bringhurst Field where many residents of Alexandria have gathered in order to fill their sandbags. At the moment, you can get 15 bags per household, and the sand is going quickly, but don't let that despair you at the moment. The city of Alexandria will be delivering more sand out here as the night continues to progress. In fact, the city will be out at Bringhurst until 10 o'clock this evening. However, if there is sand left later on into the evening hours and you do have your own supplies, you can come out here until midnight or even after midnight in order to fill those sandbags. Of course, Gustav is moving a little bit quicker, and we could be feeling the first effects of Gustav by first thing tomorrow morning.
As in previous storms, the region braces itself for an influx of visitors to the area.
There's no time to play around with it, so we just decided to get away. We got family in Texas, and that's where we're gonna go.
When they came on the news and it was like Charles, don't play, get out, because Hurricane Rita was nothing to play with, and they told us go north, so now we're trying to go north.
The water, we live around a lot of water, and I don't think those levees we have gonna hold us either, so we had a mandatory evacuation for 4 o'clock.
After days of hearing about residents from the southern parishes coming to take refuge, Central Louisiana emergency responders meet to turn their efforts towards protecting us all during the storm.
These massive Army vehicles pull out onto Coliseum Boulevard. They're preparing to fill up with fresh water, and then they'll head to New Orleans. Meanwhile, on this lot behind headquarters, National Guard soldiers from the 199th are making sure these trucks are in tip-top order. They'll be en route to NOLA as well if Gustav is going to hit. And as some National Guard advance teams are already in the city, for Private Jason Dudley, there's a sense of wanting to follow close behind to help however he can.
I mean, it's different. It's different from us being called up to other things. It's good for our state because we are a state for our state. It's going to be nice to see that this will be the first time we put the hurricane evacuation plan in place.
Back in 2005, the 199th had just touched down in the States after a combat deployment to Iraq. No sooner had their plane landed did they receive orders to respond to Hurricane Katrina.
We were trying to go home to see our families, and they had everyone volunteer to go down there, and it was hard for people to want to volunteer because it's either you get to go see your family for the first time, and some people 8 or 9 months, or go down to New Orleans. So it was difficult, and now we're able to go down and help our state, which is a lot better for us.
What's the hardest thing to do when you get down there?
Really filling up sandbags, you know. It's really nothing hard to help out a fellow human, you know.
It gets you a little nervous and excited at the same time, especially being a National Guard like we are, you know. Just know we got to do our job, do our mission.
So as you can see, this group behind me, these guards, men and women, all packed up, ready to rock and roll. All they're waiting on now is the call from General Landreneau.
Traffic is expected to continue like this.
The city of New Orleans is the focus of the national media as news crews descend upon the Crescent City with a wary eye towards the levees.
We are worried about the overtopping of the levees. Anytime you've got overtopping of a levee, you've got to be concerned about the risk to property.
Residents there take heed of the government's warnings and escape.
As Hurricane Gustav roars toward the Gulf Coast, Louisiana braces for a direct hit. Federal, state, and local officials are working together trying to avoid making the same mistakes they made 3 years ago during Katrina.
We can't stop the storm from coming in. What we can do is be ready as possible, making sure we're ready, the state's ready, and the local community's ready.
Evacuations were mandatory for some in the state, and officials tried to eliminate any reason to stay.
If you're living behind one of those levees and you think, well, I've got a levee, that's great for your property, but for your life, you should evacuate. You should not count on that levee to protect your life.
The National Guard was brought in to help protect the peace and look out for looters. Transportation was provided to those who needed it. A bracelet system is being used to keep families together, and now pets are included in the evacuation process as well.
This time, they coming with me all of them. So I gotta bring, that's my baby there.
Many were forced to leave the cities they love, but many, like this artist, say there is no question they will return.
I look at it this way, we're coming back.
Notice that the outflow is coming through Louisiana. It's already throwing clouds this way, and you saw the radar echoes off the southeast coast. In fact, if you look out the window here, you can see those high-level cirrus clouds coming in from that direction. We are already being affected by Gustav.
The projected path of Hurricane Gustav has Storm Team 5 meteorologists working overtime to hone their weather prediction skills.
There it is, just offshore as a Category 3, still a major storm. That means winds in excess of 111 miles an hour, right over the city of Lafayette. Now this timeline is actually around 7 o'clock this evening. It will then continue, of course, to push off towards the northwest. So Lafayette, any place around Opelousas, you could experience some very heavy winds. Then 12 hours later, or 24 hours later rather, you see it around Leesville. So it's going to take quite some time to kind of move its way across the central portion of the state. Again, to the northern half of this, we will see some very heavy rainfall, and of course we'll also be seeing some very gusty winds.
Have you suffered damage from recent storms? Do you have a remodeling project underway? The folks at Sutherland's have what you need. They have the best selection of supplies and building materials you need to rebuild or remodel your home or business. Whether you need custom kitchen cabinets or beautiful ceramic tile floors, Sutherland's has it in stock and at the right price. Building supplies, tools, home and garden accessories, right here at Sutherland's, MacArthur Drive in Alexandria.
When the weather is rough and folks need power, it takes hard work and sacrifice from people who live here and understand responsibility. It takes innovation and hard work and a no-quit attitude. It takes people who are willing to go out there no matter what, no matter when, no matter how long, and get the job done. It takes people like the ones at Clico.
Disaster victims need your help today. Throughout the United States, disasters are destroying homes and devastating lives. Disasters like the recent hurricanes. You can help victims of disasters by supporting the American Red Cross Disaster Relief Fund. This fund enables the Red Cross to provide shelter, food, counseling, and other assistance to victims of disasters. Make a $5 donation. Text the word GIVE to the number 24357.
And what I think we're going to see here is loads of damage south of I-10.
It's Monday morning, Labor Day, usually a holiday for spending time with family and friends. But on this day, most in central Louisiana were not grilling and relaxing, but making plans for a major storm event to hit.
Right now I'm at the Sutherland's in Alexandria, and this apparently seems to be the place to be. I've talked to several people here who say this store is one of the only ones open, so naturally, as you can imagine, it's been a very busy day here at the store. One thing that I want to show you guys, I'm right here standing on an aisle. This is where all the batteries are, and it looks like they still have some, but I just talked to one customer who said he was looking for D batteries, and apparently they're out of those. But if you're still looking for some AA, AAA batteries, they've got some of those here. Another thing that's been flying off the shelves are these power cords and these extension cords. People are probably buying these for their generators, portable units that they're using right now. So naturally, things are kind of flying off the shelf right now. I did have a chance to talk to the store manager here, Ken Graves. He tells me that they plan on staying open till 6 o'clock tonight. However, he says depending on the weather, they may end up closing early. Now, I had a chance to talk to some people who are shopping here, and here are their thoughts on preparing for this storm.
Well, we've got a 9,000 watt generator, which we think will run pretty much a couple small air conditioners, our freezer, our refrigerator, and a few lights in the house. I really don't think it's going to be as bad as what they thought it was initially. Sure, we have some concerns, you know, about tree limbs, maybe trees falling down, power lines, things like that, but I think we're going to be okay.
So as you can see, this is nothing new to the residents here of central Louisiana, and obviously they've taken heed to the warnings and they are preparing for the worst for this storm. One thing that I do want to mention, the store manager Ken Graves did tell me that they are expecting a shipment of about 200 generators about 1:30 this afternoon. So they will have generators here available if you still are able to get out this afternoon. They'll have them here at Sutherland's. He said there should be about 200 available.
Evacuees from around the state find themselves sheltered from the storm in central Louisiana.
Now we want to head over to Pineville to the shelter that they have set up in Kingsville. So let's go ahead and join Joe Massey over there.
I'm here at Kingsville Baptist Church in Pineville, one of the Red Cross shelters. And again, we couldn't show you the inside because of privacy regulations. Right now, more than 200 evacuees are inside, and many of those stayed here during Katrina and Rita and asked for this shelter specifically by pre-registering. Joining me now is the administrator, Mark Mercer. Mark, tell me a little bit about how the situation is.
Right now, we've got about 200 people here, maybe a little over. It's maximum capacity right now. We've been filled since Friday. Most of our evacuees here are from the past hurricanes, Rita and Katrina.
They're taking care of us. They make sure we eat, make sure we got everything we need, and we just waiting to go back home to see if we can go back home and make sure our house and everything all right.
As the evacuees brace for Gustav here, they're watching the effects of the hurricane back home.
How many times have you had to leave out of New Orleans?
Well, put it like this, I'm 53, and we've been doing this since I was 11. So at first they used to do shelters in New Orleans. When they did Camille, after Camille, they stopped the shelters in New Orleans. And then we used to go to schools, and then after that they wouldn't open any more schools, so then you start leaving. And then just in the 2000s, that's when they started opening the Superdome. See, before they didn't open the Superdome.
What do you think about this go-around?
I think it's good. It's well planned. Everybody's on top of the game, and it's going smoothly. Everything from the traffic to the shelters. You know, people I called leaving New Orleans and said it was bumper to bumper, but it was moving well. And that was good.
The local emergency and city officials here at OEP just want to remind local residents that it is not okay to leave your homes. You want to stay put at this point, because even though it looks like it's just rain and wind at this point, we haven't even seen the eye yet. So you definitely want to steer clear of the roadways, which, by the way,
all roads are open. We have no traffic accidents reporting at this time. The Louisiana State Police. And again, I want to urge everyone to stay inside. Now is not the time to get out. Within the next several hours, as I'm sure the meteorologists have been reporting, the eye is going to be coming up through southern part of the listening area, and we just want to, again, reiterate to everyone, now is not the time to get out. Stay inside. Let's hunker down, ride this out together. As soon as it passes, the state police, local parish, sheriff's office, and municipalities, National Guard are going to be out trying to assess the damage, seeing what we have, where our flooding is going to be, and where our down power lines are, so we can get CLECO and all our municipal power agencies back into the affected area and get power restored quickly.
About 12 years ago, Derek Mills ran for a gold medal in Atlanta, running the 4x400 relays. He is now running from Hurricane Gustav. And joining me is Derek Mills, a former Olympic gold medalist. And Derek, first of all, tell us how you ended up here from New Orleans.
Absolutely. We had friends in New Orleans. Actually, one of my co-workers, Marcus Brown, and his family were so gracious as to invite us here to sort of seek shelter from the storm, to get away from Gustav, out of New Orleans, and hopefully be in a safe area in Alexandria.
Is there any information you need to get out, anything you want to let our viewers know this morning?
I just want everybody to be safe and know that the Red Cross is here, and if we can be of assistance, give us a call.
As before, relief agencies follow the plan to provide shelter, but some are turned away.
We've been on the bus since, 3 o'clock? 2:30, 3 o'clock? We have a baby that's 2 weeks old. We have elderly. They're tired. We tired. The bus driver gonna get tired in a minute. So they have to find something for us to go, somewhere to go.
We've been on the road since after 9 o'clock this morning. We done been to this is about the third shelter we done been to. They turned us around. They don't have no room for us. It just got us riding around on these buses, back and forward. I feel like I should fault our parish president, Bill Hubbard, because he should have made sure we had somewhere to go. You got all these buses out here. You should have made sure we had somewhere to be.
The government promises to investigate the bus contracts, but not before Gustav makes landfall.
When the weather is rough and folks need power, it takes hard work and sacrifice from people who live here and understand responsibility. It takes innovation and hard work and a no-quit attitude. It takes people who are willing to go out there no matter what, no matter when, no matter how long, and get the job done. It takes people like the ones at CLECO.
Have you suffered damage from recent storms? Do you have a remodeling project underway? The folks at Sutherland's have what you need. They have the best selection of supplies and building materials you need to rebuild or remodel your home or business. Whether you need custom kitchen cabinets or beautiful ceramic tile floors, Sutherland's has it in stock and at the right price. Building supplies, tools, home and garden accessories, right here at Sutherland's, MacArthur Drive in Alexandria.
Our great in-store specials this week include fresh select T-bone steaks, family pack, $5.77 a pound. Fresh fryer wings sold in 5-pound bags, 99 cents a pound. Guidry's catfish fillet sold in 5-pound box, $19.99. Fanta soft drinks, 12-pack, 12-ounce cans assorted, 3 for $10.
That's Fresh Market. We're all about fresh.
In Lafayette, the National Guard prepares itself for the inevitable.
At a 10 a.m. news conference at the Army National Guard barracks, commanders talk strategy. Their top mission objective is evacuating anyone who needs assistance and making sure that there are meals ready to eat and water on the buses heading north. After the briefing, we ride to Lake Martin in an Army Humvee. It's a remote location where troops are running drills, practicing boat rescue operations. Back in the city, roadblocks are everywhere, directing traffic to highways and trying to keep congestion off side streets. Only the National Guard is being allowed to bypass checkpoints and barricades, and at this drive-through window, there's a long line. As many drivers say, they haven't been able to stop at any of the earlier exits.
I live in a mobile home, so me and my sister both have each a mobile home, so we're leaving. Rather be safe than sorry.
It's fair to say that the mood here is tense, and the question on a lot of people's minds as they pass through Lafayette, how far inland do they need to go? Where and when can they stop? What's the point of this mission right now?
Well, right now we're conducting engineer pre-assessment missions, and our primary goals are to locate safe and secure routes to all of the major hospitals in the area. We want to have routes where we can bring supplies in and out as soon as the worst of the storm passes, and we want to identify potential problem areas.
I'm reporting from Lafayette. These are Category 4 hurricane, Category 1 hurricane force winds. We're at a gas station right now. Take a look. This is the story at gas stations all around Louisiana, and specifically here in the Lafayette area. They've got yellow bags on them. No service here. And take a look at the convenience store. This is all boarded up. We've got a lot of debris flying around, and I'm going to have the camera come over in this direction. Just take a look at these trees. Very dangerous right now. These wind gusts are getting even more and more severe. Right now we're reporting from Avoyelles. We were covering the National Guard in Lafayette, and on our way back north we came upon this vehicle that was actually blown off the road into this ditch. That's just an indication of how high these winds were getting. The two gentlemen in this vehicle tell me they were on their way to Illinois. Right now they're waiting on police to get here to bring them out of this ditch, and also a National Guard vehicle has arrived here on the scene to assist. Also, we were hearing Nick and Tom Convica talking just a little while ago on the radio about a dark cell moving over the Bunkie area. I'm going to have my camera come in this direction. That cell is actually in the distance. Now, we were having a little difficulty with the camera, so I'm not sure if you can get a good look at it, but we see some very thick black clouds, swirling motion on the horizon there. That's going north towards Rapides Parish.
Here's the satellite picture, the visible. Really impressive. You can really pick out that center of circulation. It's going to be going away, though. We're going to see this picture disappear here as we lose the daylight.
Prepare for the worst and hope for the best. So we're here to help. Any emergencies, please call in. That might occur. We will probably be held down to emergency situations only.
Central Louisiana begins to see the effects of the first Gustav rains.
This is why you don't want to be out and about driving around, because with the wind gusts, you can see yourself running to something like this. As you can see, the power line is still connected to this pole, but it's also connected to the home. It's at a dangerously low level. If you are driving out and about and you had rain on your window, windshield, you may have a hard time seeing this low-lying lane in the path of the roadway. And on our way here to the street, which is located about two blocks back from the Blockbuster video store on MacArthur Drive, this is where we found this low-lying power line. Now, a little bit further down, we have also some crews working on some power lines there, so I'm sure they'll make their way over here. But once again, if you don't have to be out here, I know it doesn't seem like it's extremely bad, but it's what can happen as a result of these, wind gusts that are coming through. Something like this can be very dangerous, so stay home if you can.
The wind's really starting to kick in. The rain is stinging when it hits me at the moment, and I'm having to shove my hat way down on my head for it to just keep it from flying off my head. The weather is just getting downright nasty here. We're on the banks of the Red River, and right now we're getting wind gusts probably 60 to 70 miles an hour. In fact, we're going to have to get inside in just a minute. It is coming down, and it is coming down hard. We're getting a very heavy rain, very heavy wind at the moment. In fact, in the Red River back behind me, we're seeing a lot of whitecaps, and right now you're kind of having to brace yourself against the wind, and then when it stops, you almost want to fall over. So it's getting bad out here in downtown Alexandria, and I think at this point, we're probably going to go in and get ourselves out of harm's way.
It's coming down hard, and just the wind is just forcing it into you. So, it's been quite an adventure over the last couple of hours.
All right, the run-up Hurricane Gustav is just now coming into the Alexandria area. We've had winds that have been gusting up to as high as 70 to 75 miles per hour, which that is hurricane force. You can look behind me right now. Sheets of rain continue to fall. The winds pick up from time to time. They're not quite as gusty, but they kind of come and go in waves, where you'll see it kind of lighten up for a few minutes, and then all of a sudden another big gust will pick up. We kind of have another gust coming through right now. This wind gust was about 50, maybe 55 miles per hour. Earlier we had some up as high as about 70 or 75. We've just lost power here at the station, and we're going to continue to see the weather go downhill as the center of the hurricane is just now moving into the Alexandria area.
I just want to forewarn you that when you come out to assess the damage around your home, be very, very careful, because something like this can be very, very dangerous.
We're back here at Monroe Street in Alexandria. We brought you some video of this location earlier. There was actually a vehicle submerged underneath the water. As you take a look here, you can see this whole area completely covered with the flow of rain, and this is where it's coming from. Step over in this direction. All of the rain on the sidewalks coming down this wall here. Take a listen to this. I'm going to squat down here by this sewer. That's the sound of all of the rain from the downtown area coming in this direction, and that is what is causing this flooding right now.
As you can see behind me, a very large limb has fallen out of this tree and onto this house. Now, this is just part of the damage we have seen as we came into the subdivision. A lot of flooded roadways, and also as we made our way down Bayou Rapides, some trees totally blocking the roadway. Of course, the fire department was out clearing that in order to make the road passable once again. We've run over everything from stumps to twigs to just any type of leaves and little branches. So don't get out for tonight, because the situation is very dangerous and the wind is still quite strong.
When the weather is rough and folks need power, it takes hard work and sacrifice from people who live here and understand responsibility. It takes innovation and hard work and a no-quit attitude. It takes people who are willing to go out there no matter what, no matter when, no matter how long, and get the job done. It takes people like the ones at Clico.
It's getting harder and harder to secure a mortgage loan these days, and some local banks cannot make mortgage loans at all right now.
If your request for a mortgage loan has been declined, there's a great alternative. Southern Funding Mortgage has the resources available now to help you refinance your home.
We're still lending money like we have for the past 28 years, so you can consolidate your bills into a smaller monthly payment. Call us for a free loan review and get approved the same day.
At Southern Funding, we're still making dreams happen.
Disaster victims need your help today. Throughout the United States, disasters are destroying homes and devastating lives. Disasters like the recent hurricanes. You can help victims of disasters by supporting the American Red Cross Disaster Relief Fund. This fund enables the Red Cross to provide shelter, food, counseling, and other assistance to victims of disasters. To find out how you can help, call 1-800-RED-CROSS or visit redcross.org today.
One of the key things that needs to happen is they got to get electricity up here in Louisiana, get moving as fast as possible. The governor understands it's a problem, his team understands it's a problem, and I understand it's a problem. There's a lot of folks from this state that are working hard to restring the lines.
I went to sleep and woke up and looked outside and water was up to my doorstep.
Hurricane Gustav leaves its mark on central Louisiana with unseen numbers of power outages in metro and rural areas.
When the pumps fail, the city pumps fail, they pump the drain in the back, they pump the ditch in the back. The water comes up and gets in the house because it's a flood zone, but the pumps usually keep it dry, but they failed this time.
But this has been a devastating storm. Over 1 million people still without power in our state, and you're seeing dozens of communities that have been literally crippled. They've been without water, without sewer services, without emergency services. Now, several good things are happening. We're literally, we have distributed hundreds of thousands of meals, bottles of water, tens of thousands of tarps to help our people get back on their feet.
In Alexandria, the DG Hunter power plant is brought online, and the mayor works his way through the emergency.
We're riding in the back of an APD truck. You'll hear the mayor's voice in a moment as we come up on the DG Hunter power plant. It's an older facility, and despite taking a little damage in the storm, it was activated Monday night as a contingency plan because the power from CLECO was lost.
We had never been in a situation where CLECO's totally out. Then when they're coming back on, we're moving out, and we were the only one running. That was a unique set of circumstances. DG Hunter came through for us.
And that's why the electricity is coming back on slowly but surely, a sort of delicate handoff of power, carefully redistributed. That happened before most people even realized what was going on.
Well, thank you so much for being here. Also, we do appreciate it. We need
Mayor Roy talking with some of the out-of-state crews from Missouri. They were here for Rita. Now they're back.
We'll be probably putting in poles, picking up wire, re-energizing circuits.
And after DG Hunter, we go to the area where the power problem began, here on Tennessee Avenue.
It sounded like a big explosion last night.
This location is a very important part of the city's electrical grid because it's a tie-in with CLECO. Now take a look over here. This is called a switch. Fell down from that pole up there, knocked out electricity to this whole block, and cut ties with the city's provider. And at this hour, as homes are getting back online, the mayor says Gustav wasn't as bad as it could have been.
It turned out well for the city.
Across the river in Pineville, things are getting pretty hot and heavy over there with the storm right on us. Mayor Clarence Fields is checking in. Mayor, do you hear me?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Okay, what's going on?
Well, I just need to pass on a lot of information as quickly as I possibly can, and it's really, really vital that people understand what we're talking about. Let me say first thing, I'm asking people please to, as much as they possibly can, not use water. Let's be very conservative because 8 of our 10 wells are down as we speak because of widespread damage relative to the electrical system. And by the way, also the electrical system, a lot of those damages will be assessed by CLECO and ourselves as early as we possibly can, probably by 5 or 6 a.m. in the morning. So we'll be without power for quite some time until we can safely go out and assess those damages.
Joining me is Mayor Clarence Fields, and he's here to update us on the situation here in the city of Pineville. So, Mayor, what can you tell us right now, first specifically about the water situation?
Well, the water situation is still what it was when the storm came through. We have 1 of our 10 wells back on, but as far as having water, we literally do not have water. So I'm asking again that our residents, as much as they possibly can, do not utilize what water they do have. Our workers were out last night in those 70, 80 mile per hour winds, okay, lives endangered, and I will always stand up for our workers because they've done a great job.
We have maps of the system, and when we know where it's broke, we can see it. Look, this line over here is broke. And we say, okay, if I get that line over there fixed, I bring 200 customers on. If I get that line fixed over here, I only bring up 10. Which one do you think I'm going to work on? That's what we do. We bring up the big bulks first, and then the very last thing we do is the ones and twos.
For the animals at the Alexandria Zoo who come from the wild, it was certainly a wild night as Gustav flew through. News Channel 5 toured some of the damage, in addition to making rounds trying to see what kind of trees fell down and on what exhibits. Zookeepers also had to wrangle up a few escapees.
We had 4 places in our perimeter fence that were damaged, so we've been working on those all day to get those secure again. And especially down by the bayou, it took out about 40 feet of our fence there. Well, we had a couple of instances where we had to go out in the zoo and repair some cages to make sure that the animals did remain where they were supposed to be. And one of those was the white-ended gibbons. The other was the capybara, which are large rodents from South America. And the keepers were out chasing the little capybara around.
Most of the animals rode the night out inside of their dens, but there was talk of sedating some of them so that if there was a lot of limbs falling down, the animals would be asleep and out of harm's way.
The large cats and the bears locked in their dens, which are very secure, so we didn't have a problem with that, and we didn't have to sedate anything during the night.
The city tells me that they've requested help from the Davity Correctional Facility over there at Beauregard. 4 inmate crews will be on hand to help pick up all this debris, a lot of downed branches, but no animals hurt here.
I'm inside of a place that probably doesn't look familiar to you now, but it's been a part of the community for about 52 years. To one side of me is the ticket booth, and to the other side, if you take a quick look, is what used to be the concession stand. And then I'm going to walk you through just a little bit more and show you something else. Right through this corridor, right down here, is the theater of the City Park Players. I'm joined by Jean Holliday, the business manager here, and a fire struck about 6:30 this morning. I guess the call came in about 5 or 6.
We believe it was from an electrical short during that aftermath of Gustav.
So right now you're just really trying to salvage what you can.
Exactly. We've unearthed some photographs. The next thing is to start looking to see what grants we're eligible for and where we can go from here. Hopefully there'll be FEMA and SBA money to get started and up and running again. A lot of people have been very emotional and they're all pretty heartbroken about all the damage that's happened here.
And again, City Park Players out of business and looking for a new place to call home.
The storm takes its toll on life and property, showing Mother Nature's wrath.
Hurricane Gustav is a fatal storm. Grant Parish police report that a Bentley woman was killed when a tree fell on her mobile home. Neighbors say Deborah Frazier and her husband were at home, but her kids were staying elsewhere. John Miguels and his family were staying with his aunt next door.
I was in the bed asleep, trying to sleep. My little boy woke me up, and all I heard was something just crash, and me and her both jumped out of bed trying to find out what it was. You can hear the tin and everything ripple, which, like I said, we thought it was just that tin behind the house flipping, and our next door neighbor behind us, they called us and said that there was somebody had a tree fall on top of them. We didn't know that she had passed away until later on.
He said his uncle saw a tree destroy their barn moments before he heard the tree fall next door. Miguel said that Frazier was a good neighbor to his aunt.
Her aunt next door knew him for a while, been helping them out and everything like that with their house and everything, but there ain't nothing really to say.
Grant Parish Sheriff Baxter Welch said Frazier was in her 30s.
There's nothing like the look and feel of fine diamonds and colored gemstones set in gold, white gold, or platinum. That feeling comes from jewelry found only at John Huffman Jewelry. In 1984, they began a tradition of excellence in fine jewelry here in central Louisiana. That tradition still holds true today. John Huffman Jewelry offers beautiful jewelry plus an in-house jeweler and a sales staff ready to assist you with all your jewelry wishes. When there's no room for compromise, come to John Huffman Jewelry in Alexandria.
Have you suffered damage from recent storms? Do you have a remodeling project underway? The folks at Sutherland's have what you need. They have the best selection of supplies and building materials you need to rebuild or remodel your home or business. Whether you need custom kitchen cabinets or beautiful ceramic tile floors, Sutherland's has it in stock and at the right price. Building supplies, tools, home and garden accessories, right here at Sutherland's, MacArthur Drive in Alexandria.
When the weather is rough and folks need power, it takes hard work and sacrifice from people who live here and understand responsibility. It takes innovation and hard work and a no-quit attitude. It takes people who are willing to go out there no matter what, no matter when, no matter how long, and get the job done. It takes people like the ones at Cleco.
Now, the other side of this is the flooding, and we have more thunderstorms, and I know this is the last thing you folks want to hear, but we have...
As Hurricane Gustav moves north, the tail end of the storm lines up and stalls over central Louisiana.
That tornado warning for southern Rapides as well as northwestern Evangeline and northern Allen. Right now that tornado warning still in effect, so seek shelter in northern Allen as well as northern Evangeline and southern Rapides. And let me go over to Viper.
As those storm cells continue to build, the danger shifts from tornadoes to catastrophic flooding. News Channel 5 is not spared the flooding, with power outages and a building taking on water.
We also are looking at some flash flood warnings. Rapides Parish under a flash flood warning.
These are the businesses that need to be closed effective 11 a.m. today until further notice. Are department stores, salons, businesses in the mall that are not defined as essential, clothing stores, for example.
Evacuees attempt to return home. In spite of the news, there's no power and they should stay where they are. But we want to show these pictures to the viewers and talk about the traffic because you need to be prepared for it. If you're listening or watching us, that if you're trying to go back down to South Louisiana, you need to be patient because clearly as you approach this traffic, you realize it's going to be hours. You need to plan for it. You've got to have plenty of gas in your cars and you have to have patience so it's safely, so everybody can safely go back home. As for Central Louisiana, we have the live truck up. Now that it's stopped raining, we're going to keep an eye out for any severe weather, but we're going to go out and about and find those areas that we've heard this morning all day long, how much water there's been there.
Tell us where you're at now.
Well, we didn't get very far, to tell you the truth. What we did is we started to get off the exit here, the Broadway exit, and we're at Broadway in Dallas. So Bryant and I are going to show you a little bit of the sights, and while I do, you're also going to notice that there are a lot of people driving around. This is the flooding right here. Now, as we pan, we see a large group of cars that are trying to make it down the Broadway exit. Now, the truck that you see there with the two gentlemen standing at the end, they're standing there in waders. So they're probably assessing the situation. This is possibly a truck that was stuck. The reason I explain this situation and show it to you is because what's happening is that many of our residents are either getting off of I-49 because they're looking for alternative routes, and they get off thinking they can go on some of these streets. You can see this is somewhat of a chaotic situation. It's been going on for the last half an hour that we've been here. Now the gentleman is trying to drive down Dallas Avenue, which also has flooding.
I'm out here on Jackson Street because we're at an intersection where the lights are still out, and I heard Trooper Morrow talking about this earlier. Let me step out of the shot so you can take a look. When you come to an intersection like this, if you are out and about, you need to treat it like it's a four-way stop intersection. You need to let the person across from you go. If they get there before you do, they have the right of way. Now, we've had some problems with this when we were on our way over here. People are just barreling through, not paying attention to what's going on. Patience, very, very important when we have a situation like this where there still are a lot of traffic lights in Alexandria that are not operating. This is one of the hardest hit areas here in Alexandria. The video is really going to speak for itself. We're on Willow Glen and Aguillard Lane. Come in this direction and take a look. You can see this neighborhood has just been devastated by floodwaters. I was told by some neighbors here that there were boat rescues happening this morning, that city officials had to respond to this neighborhood to get them away from their homes because the water just kept on rising. You know, we had a steady period of some rain this morning, and what these people definitely don't need to see now is more rain in that forecast. There's even more damage over in this direction here, and I'm going to introduce you in a moment to the homeowner. A guy named William Johnson tells me that he's lost pretty much everything in his house. He tried to put sandbags on his front door. You can take a look. They didn't do much good, Diana and Dale. This is William Johnson. William, come on over here. Let's have a word about what's going on inside there. What's the extent of the damage in your home, sir?
I have about 2 feet of water in the back part back there. The water, I bagged it up with sandbags, but the water came out through the floors. And it just ruined everything in the house. I mean, everything I had in the house is ruined.
I saw your 2 dogs on the porch there, so I'm glad to see that they're okay. What time of morning did this start happening?
All through the night. You know, it just started, it was bad. It was real bad. It just started thundering and raining, and water just started pouring through the house. After the canal down the street there over-flooded, it pushed all the water down here on us, basically. Me and my wife just remodeled the house inside and basically all through the house. We've been doing remodeling work on that house, and we done lost everything that we had there, sir.
Where did you get those sandbags from, William?
I went down to the fireplace on Church Street, and I went to Franco Hunter Park, and I picked up some sandbags down there, and I have sandbags all around the back, on the front, on the other side, and they just didn't hold the water out. I mean, it just too much, the water proceeded too much, and it came out through the floors and everything.
And you know that a lot of your neighbors are dealing with the same situation.
Same problem.
We were talking earlier about boat rescues. Tell me a little bit about that.
We had the boats this morning. A lot of the pastors came through with boats, and people came through with trucks. National Guard come through. The buses came through house to house trying to get people. They really helped. They was really on their job. That's all I can tell you about that. They really was helping us down here.
What do you guys need right now?
I need food. I need water. I need furniture, house repair. I need basically everything done to get back running. I don't see how I can live in that condition. My mother is sick, she's 84 years old, and also I had to bring her out the house. We had to pack her out of the house. It was too much water for her to walk around in the house, all through the house, and we had to vacate the premises.
Like other parts of Alexandria, the torrential rain from Hurricane Gustav flooded Penny Acres, but days later the neighborhood remains underwater. LaTanya Chapman is at the end of her rope. She has 3 kids and a flooded house and car, which forces her to catch rides to work.
The past couple of days, it's been just like this. Coming out here to check to see if you can even get into your house to get some things you can't get through. Walking through the water, I can't do. I don't know what's crawling in that water, and from stories that we done got is snakes, and I'm not gonna walk through that water with my kids trying to salvage nothing. Even if you get in there, it ain't worth going in there to get.
Chapman is staying with her mom, Catherine, who offered comfort for another Penny Acres resident.
And I'm pretty sure this lady done worked hard to get what she done got, and then to just let it, go to waste like that, that's a terrible thing. And being single parents, we working 2 jobs, long hours to not even to get them what they want, the stuff they need, and it's like everything you can work for is just gone.
Lloyd Trahan has gone to great lengths to keep the water out. He's built a levee around his home and installed pumps to fight the flood.
I think that's the only thing that saved me. And the water seeps in, but I pump it out. I bought some pump, I bought a generator, and all that. I got everything ready, and when it comes, I know when it comes, and I watch it, and I put it up.
Trahan says the neighborhood flooded this high in 1982, and that's why he built his system in 1984. Many residents are waiting for the water to go down to see what's become of their homes. Jerry Thiels was among the many whose second night of the hurricane was the worst. He's a cattle rancher in LeCount, and it's the worst flooding he's ever seen.
We've had some floods like this, similar to this, but not nearly this much.
When we first arrived, we saw some of Thales' cattle seeking higher ground. The rancher has been using a tractor to get to the road. He says he hitches a ride from there. To see the damage to his property, Thales gave us a ride to his house.
Well, it's rather frustrating. We've had a lot of residential damage as well as property damage and trees down. The roof's been blown off. A lot of water inside the house. Not, it's repairable, but it's just a lot of water in the house from the roof damage.
This 150-year-old pecan tree fell on some of Thales' equipment. Other damage in the count included this gas station, which lost its canopy. An American flag at a car dealership was left in shreds. Thales is hoping this storm will prompt the police jury to clear the drainage in this farming community.
Our local area drains into this area and on down towards Chatelain Lake Canal. And Chatelain Lake Canal has been needing for years to be dredged out. And it hasn't been, and consequently the water backs up here. All the water in Alexandria comes down to Chatelain Lake Canal, or a lot of it does, and it causes our water to stop and back up. And of course you can see my pastures are flooded back up here. My cattle are looking for high ground, and we can't get our vehicles out of the road.
Have you suffered damage from recent storms? Do you have a remodeling project underway? The folks at Sutherland's have what you need. They have the best selection of supplies and building materials you need to rebuild or remodel your home or business. Whether you need custom kitchen cabinets or beautiful ceramic tile floors, Sutherland's has it in stock and at the right price. Building supplies, tools, home and garden accessories, right here at Sutherland's, MacArthur Drive in Alexandria.
When the weather is rough and folks need power, it takes hard work and sacrifice from people who live here and understand responsibility. It takes innovation and hard work and a no-quit attitude. It takes people who are willing to go out there no matter what, no matter when, no matter how long, and get the job done. It takes people like the ones at Cleco.
Disaster victims need your help today. Throughout the United States, disasters are destroying homes and devastating lives. Disasters like the recent hurricanes. You can help victims of disasters by supporting the American Red Cross Disaster Relief Fund. This fund enables the Red Cross to provide shelter, food, counseling, and other assistance to victims of disasters. Make a $5 donation. Text the word GIVE to the number 24357.
Important right now that we turn and help those who are less fortunate, maybe with debris removal or removing a tree off of their roof, or anything that you can do to help someone.
The aftermath of the storm and its rains leave piles of rubble and stressed residents. But in the face of adversity, stories of caring and the resilient spirit of the area are told.
They fed us when we were hungry. They gave us water when we were thirsty. They gave us a comfort zone to lay our heads down in at night. They gave us a lot. They gave us more than we could have asked for from anybody, to come from all over the states into our mobile home park and just keep giving and giving and giving. They absolutely did.
We've had such a nice gesture on the part of this trailer park that was impacted, all these mobile homes that had damage, and Red Cross came out and provided food and just the general assistance that we do during a disaster. And yesterday we got a card signed by virtually every resident out here to the volunteers of the Red Cross, and it was such a boost to the morale of 300 volunteers that have been working daylight to dark, and it was such a sweet gesture. I just felt like I had to come out and meet the folks out here that had returned that thank you.
We had a wonderful beginning of school today. Lots of kids that are happy to be back, lots of happy teachers and staff who's been waiting to see these babies. We're really, really excited about our children coming back, and we had a fantastic start.
I love this place. I love all these kids, and I'm so very proud of my faculty. It's just, they're amazing. Nobody's come in today to complain that the air smells funny in a room. Nobody's complained about the temperature in the room. Nobody's, somebody's chairs in somebody else's room, somebody's this got thrown away. We took one bad lick and we're back.